Hello everyone and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Today we continue playing a Division series, and as you can see we're not actually doing a bad one today. So I'm changing things up a little bit. The plan is actually to do not necessarily strictly alternating, but to change it up a little bit. And there is, some more reasons to that, which I'm going to leave a surprise for those of you who have not heard of it already. It's going to be a pleasant one, and you're going to see it the week after next week. So, yeah, this division that we're looking at today is 2nd Infantry Indian Had, and it used to be leader of the tier list for quite a while, at least those made from attack power back in the day, and then since then it had quite the fall from grace, and yeah, it just couldn't keep up with a lot of the buffs. It got some significant nerfs as well, leaving it somewhere in the middle, but still, towards the upper parts of the tier list, really. Obviously, look at Koenig's tier list for tournaments. It is not that good, but it's also not bad. But for quick play, honestly, in my opinion, is still very good because it's really a jack of all trades. And this is where we now switch to my opinions on this division. I haven't played this in ages. Played it once or twice, long time ago. And but yeah, looking at it, again, it has a bit of everything. Meaning for quick play, it's actually quite decent in my opinion. And it's not like some divisions also have a bit of everything, but that doesn't necessarily make them good because the amount of all the different types of units they have or the qualities may not be that good. And this division has actually decent quality and decent quantity of a lot of things, which means you can actually really play it on a lot of maps in the queue. It is not necessarily the best on any of them. It really depends on the matchup. But you have a lot of tools. And that's what really matters at the end of the day. So, you have some 2k to go around. You have some, it's actually good 2k too. It is a little bit more micro heavy. You have some good CQC infantry. Or it's not fantastic, but it's decent. It's pretty decent. You have some good light infantry. You have, some good artillery to go around. So it all, and some good support tools as well. So you have all around a nice mix of things. It is very, very combined arms reliant. So it is the, I think, downside to it. At least depending on your skill level, it's a downside because it requires quite a bit of combined arms, which is not that easy. And I do get that. But yeah, this is kind of where it is. Now, the issues that it has, by the way, I still think it's at the strongest at the mid-ranges, by the way. But the issues that this thing has is mostly that you don't have any AT on your infantry, with the notable exception of the demolition group in C phase, if you decide to take it. And that is actually quite noticeable. And I'm not, if you compare this with something like 101st, obviously it's much weaker in its AT. But this is not what I actually compare to. We're not comparing this with other infantry units or divisions that have bazooka units as their infantry. We're just comparing it with something like your standard Soviet or Axis division, where, just having an AT rifle actually helps you a lot against some of the lighter armor. We don't have that here. A Panzerfaust is, while having a short range, just like an AT grenade, quite useful sometimes, because more often than, you would think, tanks actually get into that range. And, whereas with those division, you can at least be, okay, maybe just come a little bit closer, just come, and then I get a sweet kill. Or just knowing that you can sit behind a building and if something actually moves up to you, you can kill it. You don't have that with this division. And it's just not just about the feeling you have when playing it. Like, it actually is very noticeable, especially if you have an opponent who knows this, because they can abuse that. They can bully the shit out of you with light armor. Even just the German half-tracks are going to be incredibly annoying to deal with. So this is one of the bigger weaknesses for this division, which is especially noticeable at the mid to close ranges. Right. So this is one of the issues that this division has. Obviously, it is not very numerous in its tanks, and they're not particularly good. Now, Shermans are nice tanks. It's not that they're bad. It's just that only having Shermans is not fantastic, but it's still manageable. But you don't want to have the 90 points millimeter armor Sherman, which this one is. So that's it. So this is kind of the biggest weakness of this division. Other than that, it just doesn't have really like enough strengths that set it apart from other divisions. This is, I think, one of the main reasons why it became kind of mediocre. But yeah, so there's kind of the strengths and weaknesses of this division. It's still, again, for quick play, in my opinion, very, very good. It's just that even on the mid ranges where it's supposed to be good, you might run into divisions that do this a lot better. So it depends a bit on your luck. Now, for the build, I go with Maverick. A reason for that is relatively simple. You can play it balanced if you really want. It's not the best balanced division, in my opinion, but you can play it balanced. It's not impossible. You can, I think, keep this for the most part. Maybe change the veterancy a little bit. You can keep this basically as well. But if, you know, you want to go with a little bit more artillery for a long game or a little bit of air force, you might want to change things around here with the double 2K cards. I'm going to cover that topic soon. You could remove the offer and get more regular artillery, although, you know, that kind of sucks, but that is what it is. So those options are available, and the rest of it, I think, for the most part, is playable as it is. For balance specifically, you can get more M10s if you want them, but you need definitely to find 3 points somewhere. It's not going to be easy. You know, those options do exist, so you can if you really want to. Now, a recon tab. We do take the Ranger Marauders, first special units of this division, and they're really good because they can actually defend themselves with the Willie Pete, the 3 Thompsons, and the Commander trait means they can have some survivability. They also come in a fast and zippy transport, which is very useful at the start of the game. Now, why do we take those over the bazooka units? Now, as you can see, so this is a 3-point slot, and this is also a 3-point slot. So 1 card is basically set because we can get that in for less than 3 points because the other ones are cheaper. So this is basically set. There's no reason to take the bazooka over this, other than bazooka obviously having higher availability and being 5 points cheaper. And especially availability is really a huge thing. But in my opinion, those are just too good to pass on, really, and one, again, you want to take, especially if, you know, the availability is obviously lower, but if you take 2 cards anyway of some sort of bazooka unit, and again, I could be arguing to taking the regular ones for the second one, it really frees enough if you have more bazookas lying around for the rest of the game. So this is why this is totally fine with me. Again, for these, if you feel like you need more bazookas, and I might change this after playing the game, this is definitely an option. You could even take them in A phase as well, so that you have more in A phase already, if you have a feeling that 6 are going to be enough, but 3 in A phase is not going to be enough if you want to use them more aggressively, for example. So this is definitely an option. Again, I just think this is too good to pass on that opportunity, but yeah, you can use it. Recon, you know my feelings on 20-point recon units. I'm the same as attack power there. It's just, if they don't do anything special, there's no point in taking this over this one. And the snipers, I like them for the open sometimes, but in this case, I just don't see a room for it. We need some regular recon. We definitely want to have these, and we've already covered the Marauders topic. So these guys are these, and we can take them in the M22, which just gives them more 50 cals. M8 is an M8. I think no further introduction needed. This is not a rush division, in my opinion. This is actually to be used in a, let's say, aggressive defensive deployment, if that kind of makes sense, but you're going to see what I mean. Yeah, so simple as that. Infantry tab. Infantry tab. We have some more special rangers. We have the Rangers LMG, and we have the regular Rangers. So let's start with this one. Let's start with the line infantry. So I take these in A phase for 2 main reasons. One of them is speed, and the other one is price and performance. So obviously this is not a particularly large unit, so it doesn't get a lot of extra firepower from the rifles, and it doesn't really have that much survivability. However, Commando definitely does help with the survivability and suppression resistance, and like to some degree also offsets the lack of firepower, because you know it's not getting suppressed as fast itself, so it can be okay if it needs a little bit longer to suppress. Now that might be a different story, although the price is still hard to neglect if we had the rifles late in A phase with the 2 BRs, but we don't. We can only take the rifles early. So compared to the 1 BAR, this is actually quite decent in my opinion. Now, all the grants do add up. I've not actually done the maths on how much it compensates here, whether this could actually be comparable in firepower, because it could definitely be, because semi-automatics have a massive influence. At least if you have, if you compare 11 versus 3. But at least at 750 meter range or just above 500, there's no question that the Ranger's LMG is going to be more useful. And it's also fast, so you can secure his positions early on, which is why I take those. Then I take these guys in the half track, because they're nice to have around. At 40 points, I think is a quite good amount of points. Like, this is still affordable, so we do this. B-phase, we get the rifles late. I do not take this in the half track. Why? Because it's too expensive. 45 points is really expensive to get some infantry out, and the rifles late are quite decent on their own. And then we take them in C-phase as well, single vet, because we only need to hold. And we need to do that as good as we can. As for the CQC, here's where things get a little bit more difficult to decide. But I take one card of Rangers. They're really good. They also come in a fast transport, so we have some CQC that is in position relatively fast. And with the Commando, again, with this loadout and Commando, it's actually quite good for 25 points. Double that too. But we only get 3, so we do definitely need more than one card. If we take this, we still only get 6, and they're quite good. But for me, just having more CQC is the better deal at the end of the day. So this is why I'm going to get the Engineers. And for 25 points, they're also still a good unit. I take it with the regular half track. It would be affordable with the 50 cal. Just we already have one in A phase, and in my personal opinion, I really do not like having them with my CQC units, because this is usually not where we actually need the half track. Taking CQC units in half track is generally nice, because then you can drive them to the forest safely, and small arms fire won't, kill them off or unload them. But not the 50 cal, is too expensive for that. So I just take the 30 cal. They're also useful to have around, but this is an investment that I don't mind having in the slightly wrong place and then to readjust, but the 50 cal I do mind. Also, it makes the CQC that we have more expensive. B-phase, we just take the Engineers. We could take the Rangers, but again, availability is not really that much better in B-phase, so we just take the Engineers, and these guys can only come in C-phase. I still take them, because while they're, in my opinion, way too expensive for the Flamer loadout that they do have, having the bazooka also is nice. So this gives us just a little bit of more holding power, which can delay balance pushing us back, or gives us the edge versus other Maverick or Vanguard incomes, because we do actually have a little bit more CQC for the long run, and we do have more of the precious bazookas, because any light armor in B-phase and C-phase is obviously going to be quite annoying for us, because we don't have that many light units to counter them. Tank tab, Shermans in each phase. I don't take the leader. Availability would be too low then. We take one in A and one in C phase. The Rhino only comes from B phase onwards, so we take it in B. It's really good. This one you could definitely decide to single vet, but I just like my Shermans at double vet for the performance. Maybe we can give it a try. Now these guys, it's a bit of a risky decision to take them in B phase, because again in A phase we might already be confronted with a lot of light armor, but I kind of hope that this combined with my bazooka units is going to be enough, and the Sherman and some AT tools. I hope. We might need to change this after the game. But yeah, so I like them in B phase so that we have some more light armor for the long run, and it gives us a lot more pushing power in B phase when we are actually strong. Support tab, not that many things here that we have in here that are not the usual. Flamer, machine gun, 2K. Why do I take 2K units? 2K units, because it's really useful to have, and both of them are really nice to have. You could also go with 2 M3 howitzers. It's not a wrong decision. I just think that, having the mobile tank sometimes is useful, and having the 105 is also useful. So, and we don't need more than 5 2K units total, I don't think, with Maverick. So I just go both in A phase, and then we have the choice whenever we need it. More flamers would be nice, but we can't fit them in. This thing, we do have a 50 cal, not needed. This thing is actually useful. Or, especially if you're struggling with the light armor in A phase, but you also can't fit it in. And the rate of fire kind of sucks for the price performance ratio that you have. If you add everything up, it is usable, but it's not great. Crocodile, I would really love to have it. This would give you so much holding power in C phase. With this armor, your opponent will really struggle getting past it, so this is really nice. The big problem is slots are expensive. I originally planned on having it instead of the Sherman here, because it's also 3-point slot, but the problem if you do that is your only armor in B phase is going to be really slow to arrive, meaning that whenever there's a breakthrough somewhere and you need to react to this, the response is very delayed, which is already a problem if you play balanced, if that was your only armor, but this is especially problematic if you're on Maverick and just need to hold those flags till you finally achieve victory. So you want to be as fast as possible to react, and this is just too slow. And then Commander, we don't have that many leaders, so there's no point in taking it. Over here, yeah, we talked about the bazooka. I think there's nothing to discuss here. M5 gun is obviously really good, but having more, I think, is better. So we go with this in A phase. We still have something for heavier tanks, which is the M10. Also take one in B phase. Also gives us a mobile answer to this, which is really important. It gives us the 2K, same as this thing. You could take the Hellcat if you want to. I'm just really bad with the micro. For those of you who don't know, this thing, you know, it has the same gun as the M10. The armor is obviously quite different, but it is super fast, which is really useful. However, it only has the health of a medium light tank, sorry, so it dies in one hit by other medium tanks, meaning that this thing is far less effective if you don't micro it very well. And I know that I can't do that, so I don't take it. E8, this thing is useful sometimes, but with the limited slots that we can actually use, there's just no point in taking it, and both of us are okay. Artillery, here is going to get controversial, and I'm also not 100% sure if this is the right choice, but we're going to get to it. So artillery leader for Maverick with, you know, again, limited slots costs, limited slots that we can take and everything. I don't see a reason for it. And as for the choice of guns, 81mm in A phase is usually always a good way to go with, something lighter than the long toms. Obviously, if you go balance, you want them in C phase and ideally also in B phase. But for us, B phase is enough. Long tom really good, so we obviously do take it. And then the off map is really going to help us with pushing. So I think we all know how good off maps are if used correctly. Now, why do we not take some of these units? 60 mils, I just don't like them all that much. I used to think they're really good, but the more I play, I'm kind of with Yapaz also of that opinion. I'm kind of with Yapaz on that one, that they're just kind of not good enough to be a 50 mil replacement, but the 81 mil is also so much better, especially if you have radio. Then this is not even close. So there's just no real point in taking them, in my opinion. They can be useful. Like, some people use them quite effectively. But for me, it has not been good enough. So I decided not to take it. Now we're going to get to this topic soon, later on. These, honestly, I don't actually know how good they are. Now, my opinion on 120s, which I think are probably comparable, is that, you know, someone's actually also tested it. If you use them at similar ranges as the 81mm, they perform similarly, because the 120s do have a bigger spread, even with radio, but they also do more damage. So in terms of time to kill, obviously they can kill faster if they're on the lucky hit, but the time to kill is relatively similar, or suppress, things like that. So the problem is then that if you have to bring them similarly close, this is just more expensive if you lose it, and you know, if you have a mortar so close to the front line, you're kind of prone to losing it, which is why I don't like them too much. Obviously, if they're left alone, they're absolute beasts. I would not deny that those things are good. And I think this is probably somewhat similar. However, if it is actually a lot more accurate, so more comparable to the 81mm, and the damage is, as it looks, more comparable to a 120, then this is really good, and you should absolutely take it. At the moment, I don't actually know, so I'm not taking it. But you can let me know in the comments if this is a mistake. And then these things, they're nice to have if you really want to have some Archie spam, but we're going for quality over quantity, so the long tom is obviously the better choice. Xylophone is useful if you want to have sort of like a mini off map. It does that actually really well. It's not really good at killing things, but for just, you know, pinning an area fully, this thing is really nice. It's up to you whether you want to take them or not. For me, it's not worth it, but I'll just take the big off map. Now this, it ultimately comes down to the 81mm infantry version being way more affordable, which is why I like it a lot. So if I need something dealt with, I just grab one of these and it will do the job all right. It has obviously the downsides of dying way easier. It is not as mobile, so you can't easily follow up your push, and it doesn't have as much ammo. So all valid points, and I know that these are really good. So if this wasn't the radio one, 100% you would want to take this. But here I kind of see the advantage of having this, which is why I go for that one. But it might be the wrong choice. I'm going to admit that. The last tab. So there's a lot of traps you can fall into here. So one of them is taking your P47s and wasting slots or availability points for that. activation point, sorry. Because this thing, honestly, is still quite fast. It's the same price. It has the same loadout. Obviously, it is a little bit slower, as I said, and, you know, the agility is a little bit worse. But especially if you also use it for bombing run and then when you use it as fighter, for example, it will do that just fine. Because then it will be a lot faster. And again, with the same price and the speed still being really good, I'm perfectly fine with having this. This can also head on things, so we don't need to use it as bomber chaser, which means the speed is, while still important, not as important. This thing is just not good. Do not take it. Bad resilience. It is fast, but yeah, and it's cheap, but it's also not particularly good strafer, so it's just, there's no reason to take this. This thing is horrible, do not take it. This thing is good, but it is expensive. It's more expensive than P47. It is also slower. It has better bomb loadout, but honestly, at this point, the P47 does kill what you want it to kill, usually quite well. And again, it is faster, has better resilience, so it is less likely to die. You get more of those. So 3 should be enough for the whole game, in my opinion. So this is why we take them in A phase. And there's just no reason to ever take this, as far as I'm concerned. Leaving you with this thing. Really good. We do want to take it. We can struggle with tanks a little bit, so it's nice to have. I would love to put 2 in, so 1 in A, 1 in B. Then we really don't have a problem with tanks, but I think this just makes you over-invest into Air Force. And honestly, this is probably enough. I'd rather like to have it in A phase for emergencies, which is why I take it in A phase and not 2 in B phase, which would definitely be also a valid option. And this is how I do it. So yeah, let's see how this actually works out in the queue. I might do a lot of changing here. I'm not super happy with this, but at the same time, I've talked about a lot of things that you could change. At the same time, I'm not so sure about any of it, so let's just give it a try and see how it goes. Okay, we are playing against Unchained Predator. I've played against him before. He's good. I was playing ATF, which is on this map really bad for us, because his CQC is better, and there's a lot of CQC here. Good thing is we can kind of air spam in A phase. The problem is just we need to make sure that we can not lose too hard. So that's going to be a tricky one. I would not be surprised if this turns out to be a really tough game. I was going to say would not be surprised if I lose, but that sounds so defeatist, so I try to not do that.
Ready, sir?
Obviously, I still said it, but yeah. Let's maybe not do the recon there. You need to come up with a plan. Now, the problem is going to be he's actually having some fast tools. And now he doesn't have light armor in A phase. Doesn't actually have any armor in A phase, which we can definitely make use of. But again, his infantry is going to be a problem. That's definitely going to be stronger. And he's going to have some bazookas. So close range armor support is going to be difficult. Not impossible, but difficult. Now this particular flag is something that he will most likely push, because this is actually a really good place for him. So I'm not going to bother too much with defending that. I'm going to send 1 rifles. I don't actually need the half track. I can shift the half track, because the rifles early will not be able to do all that much over there.
I'll get you there as soon as possible.
What we also need to be worried about, I think he has Partisan. So, you know, the ones in traction with the Panzerfaust. So that's going to be quite annoying.
Sir!
We're going to unload here a little bit further back defensively, because I'm somewhat afraid of running into them. And if he's paying attention and stops him in time, it's going to hurt me quite a bit. So this we're obviously not going to need that much until B phase, but even then I don't think we're going to need it. This thing might be useful. You just have to be careful. He will have fighters, obviously, to prevent me from air spamming him. At least if he's smart, which I do think he is. Now, we might open with one of these. Over here we have a lot of leverage just because of the range we have if we're sitting on this hill. So I kind of like to... Well, we have to be smart about this. We can't have it in a place where it can actually shoot at it super easily. So if you bring something in here, we need to contest that. I think we bring it like up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to push that, because obviously this is a good place for us to get into. So this is actually going to have more close range firepower. So we have a ranger there and the rifles early, and we want to push that. We're also gonna not use them too aggressively because that plays right into his hands. He will want me to rush with those so that he can easily kill them off with his AT guns. But if I use them, again, forwards defensive, as I said earlier, they can actually be quite useful. So what this means is we don't really try to go in super aggressive. We just want to be in a position where if he makes some advances there, or some attempts of advancing, we're in a position now to cut him off. And this is what we want. You don't necessarily need to be super aggressive. Oh, actually, I think we don't actually need the rangers over there. We can save some of those, because we're going to need them. And we can use the flamer, which is much faster. And it's going to get there way easier. So that's that done. Ranger Marauders are obviously not going to need an Aphis unless we want to try to do some shenanigans, like sneaking behind the lines, which I don't like. You know, probably all know how much I despise this. So this is not something I'm going to do myself. I know it's kind of a bad call because then your opponent knows he's safe, but yeah. Fine with me. I'm going to get a 50 cal. Well, actually, no, it's really useful over here. I actually like to put something in that church tower. But not the 50 cal. It could be the 50 cal. It gives us another angle that the 105 doesn't cover that well. It's not really going to give us that much of an advantage, really. Let's actually try if we can, you know, cover this as well. But yeah, so I think the plan is going to be we're going to push this, and we're going to push this, because here we have a lot of open where we can actually use our range, which he does not have that much of. Now, I don't remember if he gets M10s. I think he does get them eventually. C phase only, maybe? Or does he only get Shermans in B phase and then no tanks in C phase? Can't remember. I just can't remember. I think he gets M10s. But, you know, if you get this at the start, I think we're going to be in a good position. I'm going to buy AA right away because he will want to get rid of that. If this is his only way of forcing me out of there, that is something he's definitely going to go after. And in this forest patch over there, we are going to get some rangers. We are going to get some rangers LMG. So we do want to contest this. We definitely do want to. I'm not bringing... we're going to bring on some recon. I'm not going to bring a tank in there because I don't actually need it and it's just too likely to die. But we have the 820. And that is useful as well. And then we need to go a little bit defensive over here just so they can't push this. Obviously, again, we push this. For this, with the 105, we should have a good position over here. Over there, we can bring in a 50 cal. We have one unit to just hold this, which is fine. We don't need more than that. In here, this is going to be a little bit tricky to fight over. I'm kind of relying on him not bringing bazooka units there right at the start. Over here, we're going to go with these two. The reason why I'm bringing this is so that we first have something ranged here that can actually hold this. Just for a bit, we can reinforce this later on. And I want to have a flamer there so that he knows that something is there and doesn't immediately push. Actually, we're going to get another one up here. So that's going to be enough. No, I don't really want to bring it in that close of an area. Well, here I don't really want to bring it either. We can bring them later when we need help. Now you can... A half-track can push over here afterwards. Just to be in there. And I think we're actually going to push from here instead of... Well, we could actually try to rush this. It would actually not be a bad idea. The problem is just... How are we going to do that? We're not going to take this right at the start. We don't need to reinforce it immediately. So that gives us room for Ranger LMGs.
Yes, sir.
And some flamers. Maybe one and then a Ranger. That sounds like a decent plan. Then we get this, hopefully. From there we can maybe pressure this from up here. And then we can have... Yeah, we can see how it goes. Ready when you are. I don't remember if it does any cheese openers. I don't think it does. I hope it doesn't. If not, well, bad luck for us. Why did I actually take this here? Is it useful? Yeah, there's going to be places where it's going to be useful. So let's keep the half track so we can have it back there. It definitely will help us hold this flag. We could go lighter though. That would mean we could spend another 20 points somewhere where it maybe matters more. Let's see. Let's see. I'm not sure if this is the most sophisticated battle plan. This is obviously not my favorite map for this division. We have, we have the good side, and the range advantage that we have here is really useful. It's just, I don't really I need to fight over this first, and I don't really want to do this. Here I think we have a better, well, it actually might be better. But we get this, we might be able to lose this, but pressure this one from over here, and then maybe we can have a go at getting into this. So this is probably, we get this, then we kind of get stuck there, so maybe I invest a little bit too much over there. But we have half track, so we can load things up and move them around if we need it. So, it's a good thing. But yeah, let's see. I'm mostly concerned about any of those sippy little units. So obviously, that is going to be really annoying. Don't see any of them, though. Ah, there we go, there's a traction. And he might be coming up here. There's one over here. Not much you can do.
Yes?
Right. I think we're safe.
Ready, sir.
All right. Yep.
At your order, sir.
Okay.
Cover.
You take 50 mils. Interesting.
Waiting for fire coordinates. Hit. Ready, sir. If the tank is hit, we're all dead.
No, I didn't follow up at the right time. Okay.
Enemy spotted. If the tank is hit, we're all dead. Ready, sir.
Couldn't really get that far over there.
This is where you get off. If the tank is hit, we're all dead. We're being overrun.
Okay. So this is obviously where he went strong. So the good thing is we can just bomb.
Ready, sir. Is there something you want burned out there? Fox 1, attacking.
Got 2 engineers. Another one of these.
We're under fire. Yes, sir. Enemy in
Oh, my leader didn't really follow up.
I'm attacking control. Geared up and ready to move. If the tank is hit, we're all dead. Yes, sir. Is there something you want burned out there? Yes, sir. We got a man down. Ready, sir?
Alright, let's not overchase it here.
Heading to 3, 6, 0. Depot ready. Move out. Stay alert.
Alright, let's push him out of that bit over there.
Gonna blow. Where are we headed?
50 cal is doing the work there. Smoking, but I do have the range there. The leader's also pulling up at a nice triple vet, which is really good for us.
Medic.
We can actually get one of the mortars in now.
Ready to transport. I'll get you there as soon as possible.
No, can you please
I
just...
know a shortcut.
Jesus.
Sir.
Just unload that, please.
Geared up and ready to move. I'll be there
Good,
soon.
and now we can push with the first tank. We can clear this out there.
I love the smell of fire in the morning. Saluting the captain makes him a target for the Germans.
Okay, the combo there should be
Get
winning.
down. It's gonna blow. Fire and maneuver. Where are we headed?
One of them can actually go a little bit deeper there.
Sir. We're under fire. Sir, yes, sir. Let's go, guys. Nothing to report.
I don't know what their issue was, but... Oh, this thing is still there. Okay. Well, we can start shooting at that again.
Second platoon
Could
ready,
maybe
sir.
do something over there.
Being overrun.
Let's not overdo it though. Let's maybe bring a tank in there.
Recon team ready.
They do not have AT. That's good for us.
Sir. Ryan, get down.
Then we need to bring one of our last infantry units up there.
Germans ahead. Jerry's
For
dead.
obvious reasons.
GI is ready for battle.
Okay, we got that deleted. That's good for us.
GI
Maybe
is
fall
ready
him
for
back.
battle.
Let's bring another one over there. We got the 15-9, so that's good for us.
Fire
We can bring
and
him to
maneuver.
support. We can move him over there to support. Oh, there's obviously something over there. Mark is up. We can deal with that. That's good.
Waiting
Let's kill the
for
M1
orders.
gun. It's a little bit deep maybe, but, you know.
We're listening.
There's nice leadership everywhere. Oh, look at... See how good those guys are. Wow. It's crazy. Off track. Won the fight.
Roger, control. Understood.
Oh, okay. Well, that's also
Over.
good.
Need a lift?
Let's actually go a little bit deeper over here.
Serpentine. Serpentine.
Let's get an engineer over there.
Reporting for duty.
And let's actually get a 50 calendar, I think. Now we can really hold the line over there. Over here, we can get some more flamers. Now, this was a misinvestment, but we can still use that. Actually, kill this off, please, because then we're way safer. Now we can start using this. You can also push up there. You need to reinforce over here first. You can start pushing in there then. You can also get... Oh, we don't have a flamer there. Let's bring another engineer in here. And let's bring the AA up a little bit. Let's also bring a leader next to our AA. Let's bring this up a little bit. We have to be careful. He has Raider AT guns. We lost this as we would have expected, but that's alright, as we also already discussed. Can maybe get another engineer in here so that we have then an angle to push into this town later on.
They spotted us. Ready, sir.
This thing has some uses, but we're going to push past it. Hooray! So far, so good. We can actually... We do a little adventure here because... So you have to be very careful with, you know, over-investing into these half-tracks. We're not over-investing, you're buying them anyway, but to, you know, buying too... To using them too carelessly,
What's up, control?
because that can actually cost you eventually. Oh, yeah, he does have a...
Platoon ready,
He does have an AT... a flame grenade, forgot about that.
Red 2. Enemy spotted.
Because, yeah, eventually...
Yes, sir.
Like, if you lose them too much,
I'm out.
like, it's still points that
Target neutralized.
need to have an effect on the front line, so if you don't actually get that, there's a problem. Oh, the Hellcat is scary, but we do have a Bofus if he tries to chase.
I think I've been hit.
Yeah, this is now where I prefer running over trying to chase,
Ground spotted. Check your sights. Squad, at your
but you
orders,
need to
sir.
run. I thought it was the engineer. Ooh, I'm gonna get out. That's actually... That was really scary.
Waiting for targets. Ready, sir? If the tank is hit, we're all dead. Germans
Alright.
ahead. Yes, sir.
So there's not much over there, so we can use this as a little screening attack. Right. It's kind of the idea behind
Ready,
this.
sir?
Oh,
Get down. It's gonna blow. Yes, sir.
right. And then we need to get... We can kill the leader off here.
Control. Reservoirs are full and igniter all cleaned up.
Obviously, we have a problem here since we're running out of infantry, so that's not so good. We can get some mortars over here.
Yes,
And I killed the half-track in there, so there's something over there.
I'm out. Over. Scored a home run
Also,
on that
the
one.
sub up there that are killing. It's killing my units. Obviously not so
New orders,
nice,
Skipper? We'll do our best, sir.
but, you know, making some progress. Let's maybe get one of these up here. It's a useful thing to have.
Need a light, sir?
Okay, let's just not do. Let's just not do that then.
Enemy
Maybe
spotted.
that's better. Okay, there's an AT gun over there. Let's bring some AA over here as well. We're gonna need it eventually. And let's bring a leader right next to it. Actually, really, I started to really like upending my AA. It's so useful. And I cannot overstate how powerful it is.
Enemy guns.
It's gonna make them so much better. Now, do we follow up with this one? Because if it's over here, it's actually really powerful.
Careful. Jerry's out there somewhere.
But we're obviously losing some good line of sight. So
This is a story you will tell to your grandchildren.
Shut up and listen to the captain.
but I think we just want to keep up the pressure. Obviously, there's some risk to that. As to how we're just so close and it misses, that is really frustrating. Just focus on this, please. They could start going after this now. You know, as it's, since it's a plane and they're 50 cals. I don't want them to do that. I want you to surrender this, please. Good. Now we can actually reinforce over here properly.
Ready, sir.
Maybe we can still win this. Let's
Yes,
do
sir.
this. And let's maybe get the Bofors a little bit more over there. I don't want it right next to my AA, really. Can actually try this. It's probably suicidal there.
Need some extra firepower?
But if this is in a position where I can actually, you know, start shooting at things over there, it's going to be in a really powerful position.
Ready to transport. I know
And let's just get up there. Maybe we can get that flag for a bit. I don't actually plan on taking and holding it. It's just I want to be there and
We'll do our
annoying.
best, sir.
This is channel is so valuable. Just be there and annoying
We're operational.
is a whole game strategy, really. Now with the artillery support and the planes, I'm actually not minding pushing into there. Yeah, there comes the
Yes,
artillery.
sir. I have a bad feeling. Ready to transport.
I was using this as kind of hybrid units. Wow. Bring the tank up here.
Mounted up.
I'm just like it's risky, but
Full reverse. Now. Waiting for orders, Captain.
need to be careful not to get caught out with this now. But
Damn, that was
then we're gonna bring a long time and then we can deal with all of that.
geared up and ready to move.
And over here we do have the Air Force ready. It is too deep now that he has AA or can bring it.
Getting set
So
up.
there's no point in doing that.
Geared up and ready to move.
Before... Okay, let's go with this then first.
One more hit and we're done. Reporting for duty. I don't like giving up.
Now here we can push.
Medic. At your orders, sir.
Garand should do a good job at doing that. And then...
Medic.
Let's see what we have here. An M10, so he has M10s. Good. Which means we now need to bring our own. Otherwise we're not going to last here very long. That's good. Now we know. So this will fall somewhat soonish,
Engineers.
but that's alright. We don't need to hold it forever, we just need to hold it for a bit. And there is an opening for us. We can bring our rifles late in there.
Don't shoot. Let's give our feet a break.
Engineers did get in
Guys, ready
here.
for battle.
So we're going to bring those back a little bit. We're going to bomb this next because then we might have an opening over there. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to in any place really start a war of attrition against him because this is obviously something that he can do much better than we. Still bring the long term out though. We need to deal with his infantry a little.
Over. GIs ready for battle. Enemy nearby.
Okay, this is obviously not where he is. He's going after this now, which is alright with me. He's not actually actively threatening that much over there. Right, he already has the flag, so
If that's an order.
as far as I'm concerned, he can do that.
Squad at your orders.
I'm alright with this. Okay, there's something up there, so now we can get some 2k over here maybe.
Waiting for orders, Captain. Easy, boys. Jerry's close. We're
Yep,
being overrun.
definitely. And I think since I don't have long range, since he might have, I think he's gonna have 2k Shermans, but he's not gonna have.
We're under fire. Second platoon ready, sir. Watch for Jerry.
But he's not gonna have 2k AT if it is not, you know, one of the boys. We're gonna bring the Sherman, I think, is probably the better call, and we're gonna see if we're trying to see if we can actually go after him like this.
Germans ahead. I'll get you there as soon as possible.
Okay, let's go with the safe deployment over here then, And let's get one of these in there. More likely to survive. Oh, there's a Bofus. Well, we're gonna get in. This thing's not gonna... No, we're not gonna get in. This thing's not gonna die from it, so I'm fine with it. And let's maybe bring... Oh no, we can't bring the leader. We have it over there.
Reporting for duty.
It's alright.
Contact with enemies. Suppressing fire on that position.
This guy's still alive, so I can actually push forward again. I didn't expect this to be just a Marquisar, so...
Retreat.
You can run. You can follow up. Oh, Bofus is dead. So I don't mind going after the M10 with the bomber. Okay, it's actually maybe a little bit too ballsy. Let's go after artillery piece over there.
We're being overrun.
Yeah, let's take it down a notch and go a little bit more grindy.
Need a lift?
No need to overdo it.
Watch for ambushes.
Yeah. Not calling it back immediately, not microing it properly. Costing me dearly here.
Nearby. Protect the gun.
Yeah, I'm paying for that mistake. And it's fair.
Shut up and listen to the captain.
Yeah, this is a classical example of you may have overdone it a little bit.
Medic! Aim small, miss small.
Now we need to be careful. Not
Assault
to
squad, form up.
overstep.
Sir, yes, sir. Ryan, get down.
This we can bomb. Actually, let's bomb this.
Too close. Go in closer.
No, let's bomb this. This is the better call.
You're in Indian country.
Oh,
Jerry's
I
dead.
didn't realize this was a Bofus. Wow. Okay. Definitely losing a lot of planes here, which is quite valuable for us. So
Yes, sir.
we'll be a little bit careful there. Still in a strong position. Like it's not like we're suffering at the moment, but we're definitely losing some of our edge here.
AA guns ready. Ryan, get down.
Come on, folks. War's over there.
Artillery at your orders.
So he's gonna hold as long as he can, and then we need to reinforce this over there. Yeah, I think I actually made a major mistake here by just going in too defensive now. This might be one of those cases where it would have been better to just
Backwards. Move.
hold on
But be ready to open fire.
and push on. Because I think we lost a lot of our pushing power now.
Nothing to report.
We're under fire.
Yeah, this is why we have the 50 cal. He has a 50 mil multi in here, but
Nothing to report.
50 cal,
I'll let you off.
better than 50 mil.
Get ready to engage.
This 50 cal, like this position up there is really good. Actually, that's a little bit too spicy here, maybe.
Sir, yes, sir.
Let's shift this over here. We need to find support over there for sure.
We're under fire. Affirmative. Sir, yes, sir.
And we haven't really protected this too well, did we?
Everybody out.
Ammo check, everybody. Roger. Search and destroy.
Yeah, he might lose that now. No, he does not.
Waiting for targets.
As you command, sir.
And we definitely need to reinforce this now. We could get, one of these in here. It's a nice position. He's over pushing this now, so we can punish him for it.
Waiting for orders, Captain.
We definitely need to
Be advised.
get going here now. Oh, I never reinforced this actually. That is really bad.
At your orders.
I'm out.
I think we can actually get away with this.
I think I've been hit.
No, he still has the mollies.
We're being overrun. Serpentine. Serpentine. Ready to fire,
We
sir.
have to go after this then. Yeah, I think I was a little bit too aggressive there for a bit, and I'm now paying for it.
Tank destroyer ready.
Oh, I put them into the wrong position.
Nothing to report.
Medic. Serpentine. Serpentine. Reverse, but keep facing the enemy.
Ready, sir.
After this one is gone, we can actually win fights over there again.
Grab our stuff and move. We're out of AP, sir. At your orders.
Right,
Jerry's dead.
so to keep going for a little bit.
I want to go home. Shut up and listen to the captain.
reinforce that for a little bit.
Enemies nearby.
We're gonna need to resupply our mortar because this one is really saving our ass over here.
On the mark.
Yeah, and now we have a bit of a problem because we actually needed these units over there. Let's see if we can maybe do this.
Ammo check, everybody.
A bit risky.
Get down.
Need to hold for a little bit longer.
Waiting for instructions, sir. I want to go home. We're under fire.
Got some more of those.
On the mark.
Roger.
Oh, that's gonna give him the flag. It's actually a nice move. We're still gonna focus on one of them.
We're under fire.
I'm not gonna win anything from not getting this now.
Full reverse. Now.
We're being overrun. Sir, yes, sir.
In this case, the demolition group is not actually gonna help us all that much. Now you got a tick on us. Yeah, now we have a problem.
Yes, sir.
Now we definitely do have a problem.
Grab some AP rounds, just in case.
Reporting for duty.
Saluting the captain makes him a target for the Germans.
I have a bad feeling.
He can't even do anything from over there. Wow.
Ready. Medic.
Yeah. Let's get the M5 gun in here as well. Yeah, I think I traded poorly because I tried to push him, which didn't really work out the way I hoped for. And now we're in a bit of a pickle here. Oh, yeah, you do not need to push anymore.
Getting set up
Hopefully we
for
can get
attack
him.
run.
Oh, seriously?
Second platoon ready, sir.
Come on, that was just bullshit.
Fire and
No,
maneuver.
come on.
Awaiting orders.
Like, why? We can't just push with this yet because there's going to be something over there. But we can try to get demolition group in over there.
Awaiting orders.
Oh, yeah, it's the BAR over there. And the problem is infantry is superior, so it was kind of a we win fast or we lose this. And I think I got heavily outtraded because I needed to invest so much into getting rid of his infantry.
Check,
I'm
everybody.
not sure if it happened from the start or just now, but at least at this point, everything he has is so much better. Yeah, do not use your HE shell. You also do not use your HE shell. I need to use you purely for your AT roll. Otherwise, I'm not going to win this. Okay, we got rid of the AT gun, so
Taxi
we
ready.
moved into safe position now. We can actually...
Where are we headed?
Hello? Hello? Game? Oh, also, I should really have these shooting at all times. Right, so that's kind of my bad. But, I mean, I can call things in now that I have them, but... I'm not sure if that is really going to be enough. Well, this is not actually needed
Go
anymore.
in there.
I think the game has crashed. I do believe. I don't know on whose end. There we go. We can see if we get... Yeah, he got disconnected. Yeah, he outrated me heavily. Let's see. Let's look at the chronology, actually. So I did. So I played really well at the start, and here's in B phase. It kind of went all wrong. This is when I stopped paying attention to my armor and overextended, and then I lost. Yeah, this is just I lost all my planes, or most of them. One of them, I kind of knew it was going too deep, but I was like, let's do it anyway. And then I didn't call it back. I think that could have gotten out if I had queued up the order. This one is really just unlucky. I didn't realize there was an AT gun, EA gun there. And it got forced off just so that this thing could just barely turn on, like just in the last second turn on its back. That's really bad. I was really thinking I was safe just bombing, facing the Hellcat and then getting out. I really thought I was safe there, and I really wasn't. So that was just unlucky. But yeah. And yeah, at this point, you know, he brought out all of his good stuff. I first of all, I played it badly. There's no denying that. But also, I mean, yeah, the problem is my infantry is just inferior. So a Forceman BAR versus a rifle slate is 5 points more, but it performs like 10 points more. And you can kind of see how that goes in the long run. I obviously also didn't prepare enough for these guys to arrive, right? So that was also a bit of a problem. But yeah, I do not particularly like this map. I always play badly on it. But yeah. Oh, and obviously, I mean, one thing needs to be said. This is, again, the problem is if you get into any of the CQC fights, it's really problematic for this division. Like second, as we said, it's a check of all trades. It can't do anything super well. So as soon as you get with a good division like ATF, we saw this here really well. As soon as you get in the prolonged infantry grind, especially at CQC, you're not going to stand a chance. This division doesn't have it. It has some nice tools in A phase, but once you start relying only on your engineers, then it's kind of going to get tricky. 81 mil though did some work. They were useful. The long toms, I think that might have been actually a massive part here. I kind of overestimated my position. I thought I was stronger than I was actually. And then I bought those long toms, which is that's a massive investment. So, and unfortunately, if I bought those while I still got a lot of momentum, that would have been all right, because then I could have just carried that on, right? I could have bombed him or shelled him repeatedly before he actually really got a lot of momentum himself. But once your opponent is actually on the push, then that's when your artillery is not that powerful anymore. But if he hadn't disconnected, I do not have a lot of hope for actually winning this game. I really think the win condition for me was in A phase when he was weak, because on this map, with as soon as he unlocks a 2K and still has his good CQC and has an Air Force AA, to protect himself, it's really like this would not have been possible. And we've seen this, right? He pushed back very well. Yeah, I really think I traded well in A phase when I had the chance to, and then in B phase, like as we can see here. And then in B phase, it kind of went all went wrong. And obviously, some major mistakes. Instead of, for example, buying that long tom, I could have reinforced my hold on, the edge of the left side flank, actually. As I said, initially I would do. I would buy the 105 there. And I should have done that, because then, he wouldn't have gotten that flank back so fast. So, yeah. Well, you make some mistakes. You learn from them. But it was a good game. And again, he would have won this if he didn't disconnect. Like, he played it better than me. And as I said, for a long game, his division was way better on this particular map than mine. So even if he hadn't played it better, if he played it just well enough, he would have won this. So yeah, that's that. We can actually look at the kills. So the 105 really did deliver. Like, this thing did do the work. The P47s as well. Like, it was super useful. Ranger LMGs actually did way better than I expected as well. So that was actually quite nice to see. The Sherman, I didn't really pay that much attention to it, but oh no, that was the one on the left, in the center, or more center. Yeah, that one did all right. The M10 actually delivered as well. They're quite happy with that. But he got some help with the other one, which just got killed by the looks of it. On his side, obviously, yeah, Demolition Group is really good. He had a nice CQC blob over there. I kind of expected him to do that. This is why I deployed as heavily as I did, because you cannot really push the center there without having the hill as well. If you make that push and you don't have the hill, it's going to be a death sentence. It's so easy to collapse back on you. You're just going to waste so many years doing this. I definitely lost too many of these half tracks. It is exactly what I meant. At some point, just going to start losing them, and it will add up. Forceman BR, yeah, they are the beast that they are. This thing was really annoying for me. Forceman doing Forceman things, also no surprise there. The M10 performed, certainly. This thing, yeah, we talked about it. That was misplayed by me. And especially, the one strike on the Makizas that were just coming in, that one I still believe was the right call. I just didn't know that those both were so close. And it is what it is. And there was a really bad timing with this as well. But the first one where I tried to go really deep, that one was just not necessary. I knew it, so I'm not sure if I made a comment on it or if I just thought about it. I knew this was super greedy, but so far I've been getting away with it, so I was like, nah, let's do it, whatever. It's fun, but yeah, so don't do this. Like, in a tournament game, it's not something I would do, because it's so easy to lose a plane like that, and I did. More Horseman Bear. Horsemen are just disgustingly good. And then the glider rifles, just actually they didn't get much. They mostly got half tracks, which you know, that's why you have them. This is what, since he doesn't have half track, it wasn't really noticeable here, but this is what you sometimes really wish you had with this division, because again, you don't really have an answer to a half track, really. Like for a half track, you have to bring a Ranger Marauder. That's your answer. Have fun with it. That's kind of how it goes. But yeah, so that was an interesting one. I don't really have the time to play another one, so I'm gonna have to keep it as it is and just go back to the deck, talk about it. So let's talk about the deck and changes that need to be made, and let's talk about my impression after having played the game. Just quickly wanna, after some time has passed, or at least a few minutes after having played this, I just want to, point out again, for those of you who might also be interested to learn from how I play. One of the classical mistakes that I also made there, which I think ultimately cost me the game other than just the trades, was also just, to get comfortable with the status quo, where there was no tanks, there was no AA, so you kind of play into that and you just forget completely that by B phase, that's going to change drastically. So no preparations were made to deal with tanks when they finally arrive. So these kind of things are just, the mistakes that happened in that game too. And had I avoided that and, gotten the tools as well when B phase arrived, I think that might have been enough to actually win this. I just wanted to point this out as well to give you a little bit more context and, show you some more mistakes that you can learn from, and hopefully I too. But let's go into this now. So I haven't actually changed the build, and that is not because I don't think this is the best build there is, but it's just because I don't really... So the things that I was unsure about, I don't really... Like, this game hasn't really given me the answers that I was looking for, right? So should we take the second card of Ranger Marauders, or should we just get more bazookas? I don't know, because in this game we haven't used them. We didn't need them. Was it the right call to take these there? I don't know. It's not that I wouldn't have wanted to call them in. I was actually thinking about it. However, this particular game, obviously there was the open, where they wouldn't have done much. So there was just no point in getting them. And in the closer areas, there were bazookas eventually, so I didn't really feel like it was super helpful to call more of them in, because in the places where I would have liked to use them, had the game gone on, there would have been areas where those would have definitely been useful, but at that time when the game ended, it wasn't yet. So this is where we are with this. So these are the answers that I didn't really get an answer to. The one thing that I think we kind of answered, the one question is, should we take these? I definitely felt like getting these is really nice to help us out locally. Again, this obviously is really good. It's also going to be map dependent, where if you're, for example, in Harashaya in the town, this is going to be super useful. Just to have this around in the town, and it will do the work, and then you can avoid buying 2 of these, because you run out of ammo and buy another one. And it will survive for longer, so this is where it's useful. But, if you have to split it up, this is good. So I'm actually quite happy with this. It's not the perfect solution, but I think this is fine as it is. Just some food for thought. Again, this versus this right here, it's definitely something that you can consider changing if you really want to. This A versus B phase is something that I would consider as well. Obviously, we didn't really have a problem with light armor here, which is also the reason why I didn't really see the Marauders being used, and we couldn't really see whether we wanted more or not. But depending on the map and matchup, that can change drastically. So yeah, this is some things that I think are unfortunately unanswered questions, and I'm going to leave it as it is, but just want to point that out, that I'm really not sure about those, and there's definitely things that they could change. Again, you could decide to only have one of these and go this with a long game, especially if you could go balance is a really nice thing to have for the long game. You could even decide to get more flamers, more machine guns, or just this for 2k. Yeah, so there's options that are open. But I think with this build, I kind of felt like it definitely, the game definitely showed this as well. You have a bit of everything for A phase to already go, and then for B phase you can just go on with what you have, and it will generally work well. So that's certainly the feeling that I got from this. So for the most part, I think I'm going to keep this. because for the quick play, I think it offers us the best experience overall. Not in a particular matchup, but overall. Now, my impressions of the Division hasn't really changed that much. I think we saw this very nicely in this game. It really is a jack of all trades kind of thing, but master of none. We had some pressure where we just put all of our CQC in, so this is definitely a nice move here, these two. So when we actually focus our CQC somewhere, it actually could achieve something, even against a division that is really good at CQC. But obviously, and we saw that in B phase as well, you reach a limit, but if you just have engineers, that is obvious limitation. So one thing that you could actually do, if CQC is what you're really after, and you're not so concerned about the bazookas, this would actually be a legit choice. Just wanted to bring this up, but I think I'm going to keep it like that because I value these bazookas. But yeah, so this is just one thing. You definitely notice that division falls off there. You definitely notice that, your infantry, while it is generally decent, is nothing special. You notice that your tanks are nothing special. Your 2K is decent. This was not a limiting factor over here, but, we saw you have the 2K, you can use it, you can make something out of it. So this is, yeah, I really do think this is the strength and the weakness of this division. You can play kind of anywhere, but as soon as you're against a dedicated division in something, you start to struggle, right? So, for example, the 2K was basically the same. So this is where I didn't really have the advantage by the time my opponent got the 2K, because obviously both have the same strength and weaknesses there. And in the CQC and just infantry parts in general, it was heavily outmatched. However, had this been against a different division, for example, I might have struggled at 2K. But I might have, been really good at the infantry fight. So it really depends a lot on the matchup at the end of the day and the map you're going to get. So, yeah, not really much has changed. That is pretty much how I see this division. And I would definitely still recommend using it in the quick play, but you definitely do need to use combine as well. Better than I did, actually. Some more support tools and things like that. But yeah, this is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week with another low tier one, and then the special one, or special introduction to something new that we're going to bring out with this series. So look forward to that, and see you next time on Friday.